Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, June 11th, 9 a.m. Eastern. The SPY Bulls are holding on, closing pretty much where we were at the end of the day on Friday. So we have our low down at 277.93. The low pre-market is support. And we're looking to see if the Bulls can get continuation, break the high of Friday first thing. And the high of the entire bull move that we've seen over the last couple months is right here at 278.28. If we break that level of 278.28, we will continue to be in breakout mode on the daily time frame above the upper Bollinger Band, and the weekly chart will be approaching its very key resistance level at 279.29. So that is the level of resistance to be watching this week, 279.29. Break that level, we have a weekly bull MAC decross, and we're looking at the all-time high. Dollar on the daily time frame, healthy consolidation overall, but trying to give signs that we are done consolidating, and we're going to have to break the daily lower high pattern to change that. And right now, 93.82 is resistance, and 93.21 is support. Still in consolidation mode at this point, and the 4-hour time frame is a bit of an equilibrium, hasn't changed the trend yet, which is what is needed for the bulls to have confidence. Gold is still struggling, rejecting from its resistance. Clear lower highs on this pullback. Step number one for the bulls is to break 1303.30 to break the daily lower high pattern and try and shift momentum. As long as this remains the case, the bears keep control and the bulls continue to struggle. Oil on the daily time frame is trying to form an equilibrium. The bulls want to see a higher low compared to 64.26. If we break that level, it's just another lower high and lower low on this daily chart. So must hold that level and then see a break of 66.20 to change the daily trend. If not, if we break 64.26, we're looking at our weekly higher low of 61.84 as the important support level for the longer term trend to remain favorable for the bulls. Natural gas daily equilibrium continues. We've been within this now for a couple weeks. The current range is 2875 support and 2987 resistance, and we're right in the middle of that range. We're looking for a break this week. Might have to wait until the inventory report on Thursday before a clear break of this really good-looking equilibrium pattern. And comparing it to UGAS, let's see if it's a similar pattern. Different hours, but it is an equilibrium on UGAS as well. Support is 61.73, resistance 67.75. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin bounce obviously very unimpressive at this point. All it's done is trade sideways and cool off RSI levels, which is what happens time and time again before we see another leg down. So the possibility of a bear flag is absolutely still here, and the bulls have to break the high of the initial bounce attempt of 68.68 for the bulls to prove anything. We're grinding this exponential resistance. Last time we did, we dumped down to the lower low. The bulls can absolutely still see some recovery here, but again, it's very clear levels. We have to break the high of the bounce. If we can't get over exponential resistance, we are very likely to drop down to lower lows and not see any kind of follow through for the bulls. So it's all about this tightening range currently forming, a little double bottom down at the low. Ethereum is in a similar standpoint, but a bit stronger. The bounce has more clear follow through. We're still grinding against exponential resistance here as well. We've rejected from it the last few attempts to get over it, and with bulls need to see a high of, or a break of the high of the bounce. And the first key level I'd be looking at is 536.85 and then 542.04. So Ethereum a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, but not by a whole lot at this point. And Litecoin is more of an equilibrium on the hourly with low, high, higher low, lower high, higher low. Real tight range on Litecoin. Same thing, battling exponential resistance. Bulls unable to get over that level at this point, and watching for a break sometime in the next couple of hours. I'll be keeping an eye on it for the first couple hours here this morning, and we'll be watching for that break. The 4-hour RSI on Bitcoin, if we do get a bear break, is going to be right back down into the teens. So we'll keep that in mind as well. And the daily RSI will be right down at oversold as well if we do get a bear break. If we get a bull break, we're going to get a bullish reversal candlestick on the daily today, most likely. So pretty clear that the break that's going to occur very shortly is going to dictate how the daily candlestick is going to shape up today. So let's get into, actually on the plays that I'm watching today, went over all the MJ names yesterday and the day before over the weekend, 140 plus names, and we picked out the top 29 names. We're breaking up into teams in the MJ sector room to cover these names and alert each other when there's key breaks. So check into the marijuana stocks room if that interests you, but there's a lot of nice setups in that sector. There's certainly a lot of hype in the sector, and that is what we are keeping our eye on. A whole bunch of plays broken down into different lists like daily equilibriums, weekly equilibriums, names close to all-time highs, etc. So let's get into some 5-minute and hourly setups. And we'll start it off with FSLR. FSLR trying an oversold bounce. 20-period hourly is support for the first time in a long time. But the bulls need to see a break of 54.79 for the bounce to get any kind of follow through. It's a daily inside bar from Friday. Break of 52.30 is bearish, and break of 54.79 is bullish, and we're right in the middle of that range. So we're going to start smack dab in the middle of a tightening range, and it's all about the range of yesterday as to whether this daily oversold bounce can get going or not, as we've been rejecting from the daily lower Bollinger Band resistance, but that should start the morning as support by default as it drops down significantly. But all about the daily inside bar, very clear ranges to be watching. SPWR, hourly 20-period resistance as well, and closed down at the low of Friday. So that support is 702. If we break 702, we look to 7 psychological and then 697, and it's clear lower highs 4 days in a row now. Lower high from Friday, 737 resistance. Bulls have to get over the 20-period hourly resistance as step number 1. Then we look to the high of Friday as the next resistance level after that. TRXC breaking out on the hourly time frame. Bulls trying to make their way back to the recent high of 395. And bulls would need to see increasing volume again to do that, most likely. 8.5 million shares traded or better would see some high volume. If we cannot break that resistance of 395, we're going to look for a daily equilibrium pattern. So looking like a strong start first thing. A little gap up open over the high of Friday, all about 395 resistance as we approach that level today. WRD. Daily chart still favoring the bulls with higher lows. Support is 26.05 that needs to hold, and the upper Bollinger Band resistance is dropping down and going to be in play. So 28.06, 28.07 is a double top the past 2 days, and things are getting very, very tight. We're going to need to see a volume spike to either break out above the upper Bollinger Band or break below the lower Bollinger Band. As long as daily higher lows hold, the bulls do have some momentum in their favor. So it's all about the low of Friday as support and the double top as key resistance with the upper Bollinger Band right there as well. BILI. Healthy hourly consolidation, establishing a higher low on the hourly at this point at 1831, and the bulls need a break of the high of pre-market of 1935. So after 1935, we are in blue sky breakout mode. Update the daily upper Bollinger Band, and it's all about 1935, and then 20 psychological will come after that. CENT, also very strong on the hourly time frame, confirming a bull flag and looking for continuation. So hourly support on the low of that bull flag is 42.42, and resistance on the daily chart looking at 43.30 and 43.28. So a double top on the daily at those levels. That's the next major resistance. Keeping in mind we've seen 5 green days in a row. The hourly RSI is already in the mid-70s. So if we do get up to that 43.30 resistance, we are going to be a little bit extended, and we have to see consistent volume keep up. This is a pretty low volume name, but 75,000 shares has been some decent volume the past couple days. NLS. Also very strong on the hourly, also a bit extended. We rejected from the daily upper Bollinger Band resistance on Friday. Update that level at the open. After 1625, if we can get above that level, we're looking at 1643 after that. And hourly support is 16 even on the dot. So bulls looking for continuation, but we're going to have to close above the upper Bollinger Band for continuation, and that's going to require some decent bull volume. You always need bull volume. I can't remember ever seeing a low volume day close above an upper Bollinger Band. APRN. So APRN is fairly flat on the hourly time frame. It's a daily inside bar showing a tightening range. So support is 302, resistance is 323. Bulls want to continue to hold the daily middle Bollinger Band support, which is ascending, and we need to see a break of 323 for the bulls to remain in control. Then we're looking at 326 and 335 as the next two levels after that. Bulls trying to shift after a few days of consolidation back to seeing the bulls back in control. We've got a break of the lower highs. Here's our higher low, and now we need higher highs with the bull break over the high of Friday. MTCH. MTCH is looking for a gap up open. Daily inside bar, support is 40.63 and resistance is 41.84. So we're seeing a big gap up over resistance, and the next resistance level, I'm looking up at 47.32. So we're in an area on the daily chart with a lack of resistance, as the bulls are going to try and close above the upper Bollinger Band, but we are going to be testing the upper Bollinger Band at the open today. So update that daily upper Bollinger Band. If we can close above it, there's a lack of resistance, and previous price level 43.25 needs to break first thing. So a couple key resistance tests first thing in that daily upper Bollinger Band in play. SFIX. High of the day, 25.38 on Friday. Bulls looking for a small gap up open, and it's looking like that's going to happen. The next resistance with limited resistances due to the recent IPO, 26, and after 26 is 26.88. So two key resistances to be watching, and bulls need to establish a higher low on the hourly. Might be 24.88 if that level breaks. 24.60 is the next level, and there's a lack of liquidity here pre-market, so the price is jumping around a little bit. But it's all about 26 psychological and whether or not we can close above the upper Bollinger Band in breakout mode like we did on Friday. AOS also extremely strong. Trying to break out from the daily range, 64.74 breaking. 64.78 will be a key break, and we actually already broke that on Friday. So the next level is 65.03 and then 65.40. Same thing, upper Bollinger Band on the daily is right there. Have to close above it for continuation. Otherwise, we're going to be looking for consolidation. So how the price reacts to the upper Bollinger Band on the majority of the names that I've looked at here this morning pre-market is going to determine whether the bulls can keep strength or whether we need that healthy consolidation. SIRI. Siri is breaking out, very strong daily chart, and a close up at the high above the upper Bollinger Band on Friday, so the bulls are looking to keep that momentum going. And 723 and 724 are our highs, and need to break those levels. You can see the tops on the hourly at those points. Hourly 20 period is support, and it looks like 716 is support as well. If we cannot break 724, first thing, look for some healthy consolidation. 716 and then 711, the low of Friday, are the first support levels to be watching. EGRX. Bull break on Friday and consolidation after that. So trying to establish a healthy hourly higher low. Right now it's 71.62, but there's not much confidence that that is going to be our higher low. Upper Bollinger Band update at the open. We need to continue closing above that to remain strong. And then we're just looking up at 74.42 as resistance. So scouting for that hourly higher low this morning, and ideal for the bulls if 71.62 is that level. CWH, also strong on the hourly, a bit extended. RSI is up at 77. So oversold bounce coming off of the bottom at this point, the high of 24.79 from Friday. So a small gap up open is coming. And the next price resistance level is up at 27.30. But the 50-day moving average is going to be right at 25, and we're going to test that level today. And if we cannot close above the 50-day moving average, we will look for potential short-term healthy consolidation to cool off these RSI levels a little bit more significantly. But if the bulls can close over that 50-day, this bounce will continue, and bulls like the increasing bull volume the last 3 days, 6.5 million. If we saw more than that, it would be another big day today. Tesla bulls seeing a little bit of favor here this morning, heading up towards key resistance. We've been in tightening ranges, bit of an equilibrium, and it's all about 324.48 resistance first, and then the high of the breakout, 330. So a daily inside bar and a break of 324.48 breaks that daily inside bar bullish and has the price likely stay above the daily upper Bollinger Band in breakout mode, looking up to 330 as the next level. 319.80 and then 317.50 are two support levels to be watching. CVE.TO. Long lower wick last week, looking for the higher low of 12.26, but we need the daily chart to change the trend to be confident that that higher low is set. So we have the high of the bounce at 13.22. Now we're consolidating a little bit, and the bulls need a higher low compared to 12.26 and then a break of 13.22 to confirm that our weekly higher low has been established. So we need the trend change on the shorter term time frame to indicate higher lows set on the longer term time frame after healthy consolidation. And that's where we stand right now on CVE. Amazon. Amazon on the daily time frame is trying to be a bull flag. Very healthy consolidation the past few days on declining bear volume. Step number one is break the daily lower high pattern. So the bulls need to break 1689.44 today to be looking really good for attempted confirmation of the bull flag and continuation to all-time highs. So we're going to test the high of Friday early this morning, and the question is, can the bulls break it? And if they can, we will be looking for a move back towards that all-time high this week. A lot of tech names, major tech names that we're following, all see healthy daily consolidation, many bull flags out there, and this week is going to be their attempt to head back towards those all-time highs, looking for continuation. JPM also showing strength, bouncing off the hourly 20 period, and we are looking up at the highest price we've seen on this breakout of 111.50. So a daily inside bar yesterday, 111.14 is a bull break that's likely to occur. After 111.50, the next level is 112.15. So tight and favoring the bulls and looking for continuation, just like the tech sector is. The financial sector looking pretty strong as well. Keeping my eye on Bitcoin, but nothing going on. It's going to happen out of nowhere again. We're going to see a spike in volume and a clear break sometime in the next couple hours. Twitter bulls, big breakout on Friday, looking to follow through today with a gap up open. So Twitter is on fire. And we are looking at the next resistance level up at 42 psychological. Hourly higher low is 41.32 looking to be established. So clear hourly higher low pattern, trying for an hourly bull flag and continuation. 41.67 is the high at pre-market. Actually, 41.72 is. So 41.72 and then 42 resistance with the first support level of 41.32. NVDA trying to shift momentum after a couple days of consolidation. Similar to the tech sector, it looks like a bull flag on the daily, but we need to break 264 to break the lower high pattern over the last couple days. So 264 is resistance, followed by 265.48, and hourly support is 260.66. We had a little bit of a weak start this morning pre-market, but the bulls are seeing some recovery and need to keep that up. There's actually a resistance before 264 as well, 263.39 on the hourly chart. It's a healthy daily consolidation like the rest of the tech sector, and watching to see, can the bulls give us the signs that consolidation is done and we're ready to head back up towards recent highs. ROKU, also healthy consolidation. Daily higher low is now 37.52, and the bulls need to break 39.75, the high of Friday first thing, to be looking at a couple resistance levels, 40.20, and then the highest price we've seen in the last 3 months of 40.47. So we had healthy consolidation. The bulls shifted momentum with a little higher low and higher high on the hourly, and bulls need to keep that up. 39.03, important hourly higher low of support to keep the uptrend on the hourly in favor of those bulls. THCX.TO. Not on that exchange. THCX.V. Hourly equilibrium, very clear. So we have our high, low, lower high, higher low. The range right now is 499 support and 519 resistance. Closer to a bull break than a bear break, but we have to break 519, and it's just giving us multiple daily inside bars, 2 daily inside bars in a row. And that's very likely to break today to start the week. We'll see which direction bulls are in favor. OGI, all-time highs. All-time highs in sight, I should say. Same thing here, though. Multiple daily inside bars, which is a clear hourly equilibrium. 563 and 549 are supports, and resistance is 585 and 593. NKTR. So those are both 2 names to be watching in the Canadian MJ sector because they have really tight ranges that are likely to break today. NKTR showing weakness. We have the low of the dump, the high of the bounce on the daily, and now the bulls are trying to form a higher low at 52.32. To change the trend on the daily, we have to make our way all the way back to 65.47. That's a very long way to go. Daily inside bar on Friday, 55.37 resistance, 52.50 support. We're closer to a bear break than a bull break. And if we break 52.50 and 52.32, the low of the dump on the daily is 50.56. Bears definitely still have the upper hand at this point. SPY, you're looking beyond the resistance I gave. So I gave the resistance on the weekly time frame of 279.29. That's the key resistance to be watching. And then, yes, you could pick out a handful of other resistance after that, but that's the next resistance we're watching, 279.29. INTC. So INTC is trying to form a double low on the hourly time frame, 54.66 and 54.60. And the resistance that has to break, the bulls need to break the lower high pattern, so 55.26, 55.22. We pretty much have a double bottom and a double top on the hourly time frame. 54.60 to 55.26 is the range to be watching. The bulls are trying to shift momentum after consolidation, but we did lose the higher low pattern on the daily time frame, so we have to keep that in mind. If we do bounce, we may just see a lower high as we shift momentum. Pretty high bear volume Thursday and Friday. IDBE, or where am I? ADBE. Daily inside bar. Bulls need to break 251.66, and looks like we're going to do that first thing. 254.05 and 254.72 are a couple levels that stand out as the bulls look for continuation after back testing the daily middle Bollinger Band support on Thursday. So bulls looking for an inside bar bull break and continuation of the uptrend in their favor. And hourly support is going to be the low of Friday afternoon consolidation, 250.12. IQ. Looking for continuation. The recent all-time high is 34.35. We're going to test that first thing. Then we're looking at 35 psychological if we can break that level. So support is 32.56, the hourly high or low. Resistance is 34.35. IN.TO. So IN.TO is rejecting from the daily upper Bollinger Band on its breakout attempt, and there's a lot of profit taking on the 2 days of consolidation after that breakout attempt. So it's definitely notable. Bulls have to hold 98 cents, and resistance is 105 and 114. But cautious of the amount of profit taking over the last 3 days on that breakout attempt. And the daily chart has to hold 98 or we lose the higher lows. RCON. 130, double top the last 3 days, triple top. So 130 has to break. Looks like we're breaking it with a gap up. So 215 is the high of pre-market. And the next price level after that, there's a gap at 230. And then it's just psychological levels. TEVA, healthy hourly consolidation. Looking for continuation of the breakout from Friday. So key support is 22.99 and resistance is now 23.28. And next level after that on the weekly time frame, limited resistance in this area. So 24 psychological would be the next level. So clear hourly healthy consolidation and looking for continuation. Checking back in on SPY as we head into the open. So bulls just fine and looking to break that high of Friday first thing to give confidence. 278.25. So small gap up is likely. And we're watching that next key weekly resistance. Canadian MJ opening pretty much in line with where we closed on Friday, perhaps a little bit lower open. And we're going to be watching all-time highs on a lot of individual names. EAT.ca, bull break Friday, but profit taking behind that bull break. Have to see where an hourly higher low is established. 51 cents is resistance, followed by 53. And bulls need an hourly higher low higher than 46 cents ideally. Certainly a bullish chart as long as the daily middle Bollinger Band holds. MU had a breakout on Friday, looking for continuation today. 61.60 was that level, and we're just looking up at 64.66. So a couple of resistance levels from pre-market, and then 62 psychological will be next, and we do have space on the daily time frame. I would expect a daily equilibrium with the amount we pulled back from the high, and anything under 64.66 will be a lower high on the daily, so keeping that resistance level in mind for the potential of an equilibrium. But space before we get to that resistance level. Just did Twitter. And this morning it's looking like the financial sector is going to see a gap up open and break the high of its bounce to this point. So the daily chart on XLF already has a higher low and a higher high. And now we're looking to see continuation. And the level is 28.50. If we break 28.50 on XLF, that is going to significantly increase the odds that SPY is heading to all-time highs. 28.50 is the level on XLF. And we're going to be within about 1% from where we opened this morning. We'll still be watching IIPR, which is on the verge of all-time highs. IIPR has a tightening daily pattern. Perhaps an equilibrium there if we cannot break 38.44 today. Nothing notable on Netflix pre-market. We're looking at the same kind of healthy consolidation as the rest of the tech sector leaders. Potential for a daily bull flag. Have to break 362.39, the high of Friday, to try and break the consolidation pattern and indicate we're ready to head back towards the all-time high. So bulls are certainly in control. It's going to be up to the bears to prove themselves, but they're certainly not doing that pre-market, as a lot of names are starting with some strength. Checking back in on Bitcoin. Still weakness at this resistance. Have to break 68.39. JD is a daily inside bar, 38.96 support, 40.41 resistance. And we'll see if that range breaks today. If volume drops off again, it's possible to see another daily inside bar. But we are starting closer to a bull break than a bear break. And here's the open. Buys looking good. High at pre-market, 278.54. So profit taking in Canadian MJ right out of the gate. High IPR, all-time high test today, keeping that on watch. So it's the financial sector that's stronger than the tech sector first thing this morning. And the tech sector is a mix of red and green. We're pretty much break even in all the major names on the tech sector. The tech sector bulls not proving a whole lot. And a fairly flat start for most of the names this morning. Nobody's up. I mean, besides Tesla. Tesla's the lead bull, but nobody else is up greater than or less than 1%, really. Man, SPY's not going to give us any red flags unless we break the low pre-market of 277.93. That'll be the first red flag of some weakness. Canadian MJ quickly down a couple percent, looking to establish a low of the day and try and bounce. We'll look for tightening hourly ranges. Tesla's heading up to 330 resistance, the high we've seen on this bull move. IBM resistance of 146.70 has broken first thing, so we're in breakout mode above the upper Bollinger Band. Bulls need to close over 147 to turn that level into support. But next resistance is 147.57. Strong start for the bulls on IBM. Snap has a ton of volatility to start. Resistance is 1335. And if we can't break 1335 today, Snap's looking like a daily inside bar is going to form. So Canadian MJ is trying to bounce off the low of the day. Need to hold that low of the day from here on out to try and see some recovery. And I would suggest watching the hourly time frame for Canadian MJ. That's where things are most clear. IIPR very close to the all-time high, but again, not a ton of volume as is the norm. By bulls quickly turning things around thanks to the tech sector and financial sector both at the high of the day. So now things getting a little bit more green. Netflix is up 1%, so that's probably number 2 in terms of strength today. Netflix behind Tesla, lead bull. Lots of profit taking on Billy, so that's the double-edged sword. When something's moving real quick in one direction due to lack of price history and a recent IPO, it moves real quick in the other as well. CRH, tons of profit taking after an initial bull, actually not a bull break, have to break 461 and we double topped there. So daily inside bar with 461 as resistance and 455 as support, and we're still within that range. Amazon taking its first steps to confirm, the bull flag's not confirmed unless we hit a new all-time high, but the bulls are confirming that we are done consolidating for now. Our new daily higher low is 1673, and we have broken the daily lower highs during consolidation, although not very convincingly, only by $1 at this point. So starting to shift that momentum back to the bulls. Nice move for IIPR. Low of the day test for WEED. And it looks like Facebook is the tech sector laggard this morning. Facebook and Apple taking their time. Looking like a daily inside bar is going to form here for WEED with how we've started this morning. A new low of the day on Canadian MJ. BA bull break to start the day. Healthy bull flag on the daily. And now we're just looking back up at the 374.48 recent high. I wouldn't call BKNG a cup and handle pattern just because the right side is not really close to the left side. Lower by $50. I'm watching the weekly equilibrium on BKNG as a more clear pattern to me. SPY bulls still doing their thing, new high of the day. So SPY's riding 5-minute exponential support up. We're heading to that weekly resistance in the low 279s. Netflix continuing to lead the way with Tesla. Clear lead bulls. Still nothing going on with Bitcoin. We're going to see a volume spike to indicate when things are heating up again in terms of action. Bears still have favor. Bulls aren't really proving anything. It's a big time move for the SPY bulls, certainly asserting themselves this morning. The financial sector, 2850 is the level. VRX has to break the high of Friday, 2609 when we have, so we're still in breakout mode above the upper Bollinger Band. LABD is the inverse to XBI, so when XBI is red, LABD is green. Twitter pulling back. Pretty clear resistance from pre-market rejecting the price, and that lines up with the daily upper Bollinger Band rejecting the price. So some healthy consolidation. The low of pre-market, 41.32. If that breaks, we're looking down at the hourly support of 40.92 as the most important short-term level. Baidu's having a nice green day. Checking the daily chart for Baidu. Bull flag trying for confirmation if we can get over 268 resistance, which we have. So Baidu daily chart continuing to fill gap. CMG chart still favoring the bulls. Tesla got real close to 330 resistance, but couldn't quite break it just yet. Apple's still struggling to do anything for the bulls. Only red tech name on my screen. Checking back in on oil. Oil is going to be pretty important, probably on the inventory report day, Wednesday. But the daily chart's just going to continue to tighten. We're going to be looking for a nice weekly bull entry, but not quite confident enough just yet. And gold is trying to break the daily lower high pattern. Has a few more dollars to go. Needs another $3.10 to get over 1303.30. Fairly slow morning. Perhaps that's because we're used to all the Canadian MJ volatility from last week. And SPY actually has really low volumes so far. We got a 5-minute inside bar on SPY to keep an eye on to indicate very short-term direction. CVSI 278 is the next clear resistance. AMD in breakout mode. Bull flag attempt on the daily time frame and just the top of 1597 as resistance. 5-minute time frame will need to establish a higher low, as we are coming right off the low of the day on this move. We'll see if SPY can keep these 5-minute exponential supports to remain in full control. AMD has RSI levels that indicate that it could definitely make its way back to 16 with just higher lows and higher highs. We're not overbought on the hourly nor the 4-hour. All depends if SPY keeps bullish. If you look at the daily chart for Twitter, it looks like healthy consolidation. RSI on the daily is over 80. Baba Bulls continuing to try and catch up to Baidu strength. Baba clear new daily higher low of 243. No surprise the 200 support held the back test after being tough resistance for weeks. So Apple down at the lows, keeping an eye on the tech sector because of that. Tesla's still strong, trying to establish a new 5-minute higher low on Tesla. Currently, that's at 325.74 as the bulls try and keep this 5-minute exponential support. The SPY consolidation is on declining volume, but we are drifting back towards the low of the day. 20-period 5-minute support was slowly catching up. That's all the way down at 278.33, pretty much at the low of the day. So have to keep in mind that SPY did run in the hour and a half leading up into the open. CMG bulls still looking good. The top that we've seen on CMG on this breakout is up at 459.65 as we're approaching that resistance. Daily upper Bollinger Band is a factor there as well. Financial sector testing the low of the day, 28.15 for XLF. Tesla trying to break the high of the day. Break of 330 and the next resistance for Tesla. Not going to be a lot. Weekly levels all the way up at 347. WEED 3873 is a resistance level being tested right now as the bulls try and shift momentum from a profit-taking morning. Netflix bulls trying to creep their way towards the high of the day. By volume, first hour of trading on Friday was 9.7 million, and today the first half hour about 4.1 million. So on pace for less volume than the start of Friday, but pretty in line with Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. No good sources for websites that track IPO or ETFs buying recent IPOs. So if anybody wants a business venture. But it would also probably require manual scanning on a daily basis. SPY bulls trying to shift from consolidation back up towards the high of the day, but we're going to have to see a break of the 5-minute lower highs on each of these candlesticks. Still in consolidation mode on the 5-minute time frame. Bitcoin seeing a little bit of selling pressure. Bear break would be 67.30. BKNG was the daily inside bar to be watching, and we are still within that range. We held that low of Friday with a double bottom, and it's essentially 21.22 with a triple bottom the last 3 days. Getting real tight on BKNG. So still consolidating as the financial sector is at the low of the day and SPY is testing the low of the day. Still have all 5-minute moving averages as support. Aside from the exponential. Tesla has a double top now at 330 resistance. IMG.TO 5-minute bull flag getting continuation. So we broke the high of Friday, 752, and now we're looking at 761, and then a gap at 765. Keep in mind the daily chart has lost the higher low pattern, so we will anticipate a lower high to form on this bounce. But bulls have some momentum in their favor on the shorter term time frames. Tesla going for 330 again. Cautious of time decay on options out there. It's definitely looking like a flat time decay kind of start to the week. WRD, big bull move. And it's going to be a daily inside bar unless we can break 2807. And then the daily upper Bollinger Band will be right there. PANW high of Friday is 220. And after that, not much resistance until 205.07. Nice save by XLF, double bottom at the low of the day. And SPY is responding to that bounce by the financial sector. Could get a 5-minute equilibrium on SPY here through the rest of the morning. XLF just went low of day to high of day instantly. Certainly is clear that the financial sector is running the show on SPY so far this morning. EOS USDT has multiple 4-hour inside bars. It's a very weak bounce attempt, just like Bitcoin. Lower highs and lower lows on the hourly time frame still stand, and we continue to reject from the hourly 12-period exponential resistance. BNB is different with an hourly higher low, higher high pattern on this bounce. We're testing 4-hour exponential 12-period resistance and rejecting from it. Support is 1452. And then 1403 with resistance of 15. GS resistance is 235.92. And tight, choppy 5-minute range so far this morning. Goal for the Bulls is to close over the daily middle Bollinger Band, which has rejected the price the last half dozen times. That level is 234.02. And the top of this bull move is 235.92. By testing the high of the day, as is Tesla. As is the financial sector. Crypto is creeping towards a bear break. And SPY Bulls turning it on. New high of the day for the financial sector bulls. I don't use level 2 for high cap names. Only for low cap. So clearly a consolidation day for Canadian MJ. Win is forming a higher low on the 5-minute time frame at 180.14 off the 20-period 5-minute moving average. We're expecting a lower high on the daily on this bounce attempt. And resistance after the high of the day will be 184.43. Let's see if we get a 5-minute tightening pattern for the rest of the morning. But Win has lost the daily uptrend, so this is just an oversold bounce currently. VRX doesn't have any resistances at these levels that are clear. It's more psychological. Zooming out on the weekly. $27.58 is the next price level. Baba is still at the high of the day. Netflix about $1 from the high of the day. Tech sector is fading back towards the low of the day. It's the financial sector holding the market strong. AGN is currently a bearish reversal doji, rejecting from the 200-day moving average resistance on the daily chart. But still has hourly higher lows intact at 169 and 168.96. But definitely looking a little toppy on the daily chart for AGN. Still a long way to go, though, before that daily candlestick forms. ENDP 5-minute higher low established at 788. Still in breakout mode on the daily, above the upper Bollinger Band. And the next price level is 823. Bear break on Bitcoin. We're testing the low of the dump at this point. The low of the day for the tech sector now in the red, led by Apple to the downside, lead tech bear. But XLF still up at the highs. Volume is picking up on SPY. Interesting volume the last 20 minutes compared to the rest of the morning. Tesla still has 330 resistance, bunch of rejections from those levels. By 20 period 5-minute moving average support will be a guide. As long as it's support, the bulls are just fine. There's a potential bear flag on the 5-minute time frame with exponential resistance, declining volume, and supports just the low of the day. If we get over exponential resistance, there's the 20 period 5-minute moving average would be next. ZTO is all bull, and resistance is 2165 and 2170. Close to testing key resistance levels, which would put us back in full-on breakout mode if those levels are broken. My bulls still in control. Tesla still up at resistance. We're watching WEED, a bit of a 5-minute equilibrium. Just formed a higher low compared to the low of the day and anticipating a lower high compared to 38.87. CMG is looking really nice. There's that bull break on Tesla. Instant, almost $1 here on that break. IIPR is still strong, has a decent amount of volume to start the morning. Usually want to see more than 150,000 for a decent volume day. Financial sector at the highs. So as we wrap up the morning webcam, we've got crypto close to a bear break, not many supports left, and it's the kind of scenario where the bears could easily take it if they want to, it appears. It's that hourly 12-period resistance on the exponential. It's just a brick wall and leads to these bear flags and lower lows consistently whenever the momentum is clearly bearish. And that's where we find ourselves right now. Certainly not game over just yet, but odds are in favor of the bears. And SPY Bull's still in control. We'll see if we get a 5-minute equilibrium if we can't get a new high of the day here. Tesla's on fire after that 3:30 break. And it's all about XLF. If XLF can remain strong, SPY will be just fine. Hope you have a good rest of your morning. I'll be back in 15 minutes to continue coverage in the chat room. Oil bulls, nice follow through. So oil is establishing its daily higher low at 64.88, and a break of 66.20 now will change that daily momentum back towards the bulls. So significant dip buying of oil this morning and a significant breakout over the last half hour.